Toronto. And I will say it again because the recording has just started. Good morning, everyone. Sorry, I'm Marco Stegher from the Italian Trade Commission here in Toronto, one of the offices we have in Canada. And in another office in Montreal, we have started this activity of the procurement desk, which is called Osservatorio Gare Appalti in Italian. There being some people who probably don't speak Italian, this meeting will be in English, but of course our desk is bilingual and can offer assistance to companies in approaching opportunities. And why did we do this? We did this because procurement has been opened up by the C.T.A, the EU, Canada treaty that went live in 2017 and was and still being ratified, by the way, but this is already in effect and allows for companies to bid on procurement opportunities above a certain threshold. And this, together with the opportunity to be subcontractor of companies in operating in that space, in the space of public procurement, has for us created the need for some assistance to Italian companies that want to take advantage of these opportunities and try to enter the market. So Francesco will be Francesco Balassone, who is the desk officer who operates in Montreal, as I said, will be more specific about this, about what we can do for you at the end of this webinar. We will have a tour d'horizon today on several companies and groupings of companies that are active in the space from Italy and are looking actively at Canada and opportunities. The format will be more like a fireside, so it's not necessarily a classical webinar. So I would like for all to introduce themselves when I finish this short, quick introduction. So everybody can say their name and whatever they want after, but make sure that you indicate your company also for our records. And I see there are colleagues and there are people that operate in companies, but I would like for everyone to just say a couple of words about themselves, and then we will go ahead with the first presentation. And as Francesco was mentioning before, I mean, we are open to questions at any time, so let's make it an interactive experience as much as we want and need. And then at the end, Francesco will say a few words about the work that we do and that he does to facilitate. So without further ado, I would like to call Andrea Mattiello to start this round of introductions, and then anybody can jump in, or otherwise I will call their names as it appears here in my list. Please.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Andrea Mattiello. I'm responsible for the activities, the promotional activities regarding infrastructure sector in Rome. And together with Marco and Francesco, we organized this webinar in order to increase the knowledge of Italian companies about railway projects in Canada. And we are very happy to participate, and we try to involve also the association who work with us in the infrastructure sector, ANIE, OISCE, and ANCE, who spread this information to the Italian companies. And the aim of this event is to increase our knowledge of the project going on in Canada for the railway sector, and to start, we hope, some business contacts with the Italian companies interested in giving their contribution to these projects in Canada. With Marco and Francesco, we are also programming some follow-up activities after this this event. So we will inform you about that later. And thank you very much for accepting my invitation. And I give the floor to Francesco for continuing this.
Let's do some other introductions, please. Anyone wants to step in?
Well, hello, I'm Marco Stegher from Italferr, the Americas area manager for my company. I will leave the floor to others since I'm gonna have an interview, let's say a speech later on.
Very good.
I'll go next, Marco.
Sure.
Tim Rohach from the engineering group, and I head up business development and partnerships for the company, and specializing in focusing on North America. So thank you. It's really a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hello, my name is Irina Vescu. I'm from DiTecFer. This is the Italian railway cluster from Italy, Tuscany, and I'm dealing with internationalization and services to our members. Thank you for this opportunity to be speaker today, and later on I will present more information about us.
Good. Who wants to step in, introduce themselves? Otherwise, I can call Furio.
Sure. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? Yes, I think so. The microphone is on. Well, that's a good start. So I work with Tim in engineering group, and I am head of the technical services for rail market in North America.
Very good. Can I call also Jerry to introduce himself, if he doesn't mind? Or can he speak? I hope so.
Yeah, I'm just here. I'll give him.
So I see a list of people that are listed as viewers, and I'm not sure that they can they take the floor?
I'm gonna.
Yeah, now it is probably can.
Okay, that should work.
Very good. And if not, maybe Guido wants to take the floor.
Yes, thank you, Marco, and thank you, Francesco, for organizing this second event on railway. We are very happy. It's our core business, the railway. So thank you again. I know that you are managing a lot of topics in Italian topics in Canada, but railway for us is our main future. And you will see and you will hear from Irina what we are doing, what we have done up to now, and how we will continue to work. I'm very happy that engineering is a speaker. Engineering is one of our members in our cluster in Italy. Italferr not, but we have Italcertifer, who is our member, and I see in the participant, in the viewers, also Michele Quinto coming from VDS Rail. It's a small and medium enterprise, and I'm very happy that he's here because he always said that the market is so interesting, and he will continue to follow us, and we try to help SMEs in particular, but not only. Thank you.
Okay, and if I may call someone else, maybe Joanne Smith. I see on the list. And if not, Salima Hajawi from our headquarters. Okay, I don't know if they can hear me. I hope so.
Yeah, they should be able to. If anyone's having trouble and they can't speak, either send me an email or just tell me right now. I've sent you all. Oh, no access to a video. That's weird. Okay, I put her as a
And I saw also Alexander Lawai join recently. You want to introduce yourself, Alexander? please.
Yeah, good morning, everyone, and I'll help you solve that problem. So I had to log back in because I was under viewer only and I couldn't access the camera. But nice to meet everyone. My name is Alexander Lavoie. I'm the Policy and Initiatives Manager with Rural Manitoba Economic Development Corporation. And we work directly with communities on infrastructure projects and opportunities in the region of Manitoba.
Very good. I could see John has joined again. And maybe this time you manage to talk to us, or hope so. Otherwise, we can do this at the end. Also see Miss Manuela Russo. You want to introduce yourself?
Hello, hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Manuela Rossi from Ferrovie dello Stato, and I work in the International Business Development Department of the holding of this group. Many thanks to you all.
Thank you, Manuela.
Thank you for participating.
Joanne, I can see you now.
Yes, I had to do the same. I had to lock off and come back in. So
Sorry.
good afternoon, everybody, or good morning, and nice to meet you. My name is Joanne Smith, and I'm a trade commissioner working out of the Canadian Embassy in Italy. I take care of the transportation sector together with other sectors. I know some of you, so nice to see you again. And thank you to Marco and Francesco for inviting me to take part in this webinar. Thank you.
Always a pleasure. I see there are four people in the viewer side that probably cannot take the floor. Adele Murulo, a colleague from ITA Rome, and Silvia De Angelis from the Italian Embassy in Ottawa. Then there is Michele Quinto and Tommaso that I don't have the pleasure to know. So if they can manage to switch to participants, that would be a pleasure to hear from them. Did I miss out on anyone? Jerry, can you speak now, or can't you?
Oh, I think he's retrying. I've added everybody as a collaborator, so they should be able to, as long as they accept the invitation, they should be able to. Or if he rejoins, then he's going to get it.
Okay.
So yes, sorry.
I'll leave you the floor, Francesco, for now. Let's end this round of introductions. We did as much as we could, and
absolutely, absolutely. So I think there's a lot of great opportunities here because I think, we're at an inflection point in Canadian history where people are taking rail passenger transit more seriously. And that not only involves freight, but involves, public transportation and involves passenger rail. And these are all, multi-billion-dollar projects they're going through. As I'd mentioned a couple of months ago, I think in my previous webinar, it's a $100 billion capital expenditures that are being put on the table to build this new network basically from scratch. And yesterday and the day before, I had been at the TRAX conference in Toronto. I had the great pleasure of knowing a great many amounts of companies that were Canadian, and actually some Italians too, some Europeans. There was Gruppo Bonomi. They're very interested as well in what we're doing here. And it's a perfect opportunity, I think, to mesh these two countries together and to see what kind of connections can be made. Because really, what I am in a romantic sense is I'm a matchmaker between Canadian companies and Italian companies. And whatever business there is to be found, I will try to find a contact for you. And it's quite likely that we have them. So yes, thank you. If you would like to present, Jerry, yourself, feel free to do so now. Otherwise, we could move on to Marco Stegher's intervention.
Yeah, apologies for the technical glitches. Hi, all. I'm Jerry. I represent We Build Group in Canada.
Great to have you here. And okay, so we move on with the first presentation. Marco Stegher, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Marco. Thank you, Francesco. Hello, Jerry, Joanne, and some of the friends I see in the screen. To the others, hello, and very nice to meet you, even though remotely through this webinar. So again, thank you for having me here, because it's an honor. First of all, I thank you. I'm not here to teach anything to anybody, but I'm here to share some of the things we have been doing the last years. And I think the spirit of this webinar is the knowledge sharing, no? The experience sharing, in order to increase these communities, opportunities, possibilities, network, and eventually our, let's say, scope of work in the transit and the transportation and investment sector in Canada. So let me present briefly. I am Marco Stegher again. I'm the regional manager for the Americas. I am a civil transportation engineer with over 25 years of experience. I spent most of these years developing railway projects in the international department of Italferr, which is the engineering company of the Italian state. So my goal has always been to open new markets, new geographies, to learn new ways of doing engineering and bring back home challenging projects. I cover different roles with both commercial and operation responsibilities. I work in many continents and latitudes, from Europe to Middle East, Australia, South America, but eventually North America. And that is our last, and I would also add, most challenging target for the company. And I would say for the future of the group as well. As a general information for those of you who do not know Italferr operates as a subsidiary of the FS Group, Italian National Railways. That is a European-based global transportation company with over 13 billion in revenues. And the group provides a comprehensive suite of transportation services, now including what we do, infrastructure and rail system design, but also passenger and freight transportation activities, operation, of course, asset management, station and real estate development, and also further other services such as certification, independent safety assessment, and so on. So partnering with us means having at disposal a consultancy that has always worked with the owner, at least in Italy, now for overviewing large program of projects in our country. And as I often say, we are one phone call away from our colleagues that manage operation and maintenance services. So we have the ability to incorporate in our engineering design the experience that comes from the real operation of railway services. Italferr was born in the 80s, so now we have 40 years of experience in the planning, design, and execution phase of the railway programs in our country, and not only. What has been important for me to highlight a key to enter the Canadian market is our integration ability and our system engineering experience. This is practically the legacy of our Italian and domestic experience, which has been appreciated by some actors, in particular some contractors that are here with us, that, let's say, and I see the smile of Jerry, so this is something that is strictly related with, of course, the Italian contract champion, that is Webuild, of course. And so we are experiencing a partnership here because of some of the characteristic of Italferr. As I said from the beginning, we are newcomer, so we want to be flexible in a way to learn how to do things in the best way according to the local procedures, and we are still understanding how to best improve and increase our capacity. Of course, our design capabilities include, as I said, civil systems, traction, rail engineering, MEP design, BIM application. So whatever is needed for railway and transit and mass transit projects we can do, simply because our firm, even though a niche firm, is, let's say, one of the largest in Italy, maybe not comparable in scale with the international players that are the big companies, the ICOM, the WSP, the Arcadis. But when it comes to railway and mass transit, I think that we can be comparable in terms of the products and the outcomes that our firm can bring. So I believe that the question I wanted to, let's say, take today is, why did we select this target country? Firstly, I remember that 4 or 5 years ago, I started to, let's say, interpret the new desires of the company, of the group, and the group to, let's say, make a move to more advanced markets. And what I saw is that Canada was really launching and issuing several rail and urban transit projects, and all of the provinces were issuing mega and complex projects that I thought could need an integration team, a support from an engineering firm like ourselves, with direct exposure to this kind of complexity. Then we also guessed, and that was the second, let's say, starting point, we also guessed that a significant portion of this project economic value would be related to systems work. And we understood that maybe the experience in the railway sector was not so developed locally. And also, we guessed that there were not many engineering companies, or we guessed that Canada may lack some rail system specialized firm. So we saw a gap locally that represented an opportunity for us. And I believe that those 2-3 assumptions were actually correctly understood at that time, because now we can confirm that these mega projects, and we are just starting with some of them, really need a great integration engineering capability. Why this? Because these projects entail the parallel presence of a lot of players. There are procurement methods that see the parallel presences of different contractors, of different engineering companies, of different concessionaires, on different actors in terms of future operation, on client complex organization made up of clients such as Metrolinx or Infrastructure Ontario. This is the environment we are living right now, but also consulting firms that act in terms of technical advisors. So there is a complexity to be managed. And this is even more true right now in the very latest approach that we are experiencing right now when it comes to the progressive design and build approach that has been launched recently. I believe, well, I will say a few words of what we are doing right now, but I think this is the second or third contract that follow this approach, but more and more will have this approach in the future. And when it comes to progressive development approach, the designers are to be even more, let's say, important, are even more important, because they manage the relationship, the collaborative relationship with the contractors and the client in the development phases of these big projects. So actually, these 2-3 were the assumptions that we made back in the past. I remember clearly that right before the COVID phase, I had a commercial trip in Canada. One of the stakeholders was obviously Jerry. And it all started for us in that period. Things have already been active in Canada, so we maybe lost some years in the previous decade, but this is what our company, let's say, produced in terms of commercial positioning. What is our, let's say, current situation? Well, we opened up a subsidiary in November 22. It's a branch. It's not an independent company, but this is simply connected to our authorization processes in our group that are, let's say, not extremely easy when it comes to opening up of new incorporated companies. But we can do it. We can do business in Canada. And actually, after that, in 13 months, we secured 4 contracts, which is not a bad result from my point of view, with 4 different clients. The first one was a contract with within the Ontario Light Rail Transit project in the city of Mississauga, so Greater Toronto area. With the civil joint venture of the Mobilings contractor that is responsible for design and construction. And in that case, we started with some system engineering activities. That was the key to enter that market. So it was a very good opportunity to start and localize our first team of experts there. After that, and as a result of parallel bids that were carried out during the COVID period, again, we had a good opportunity to enter into probably one of the most important projects that, in terms of transit, let's say, initiatives are present in Canada right now, for certain in the Toronto area, that is the Ontario line. The long subway now crossing the center of Toronto from the center to the east of the town. And there we have 3 separate contracts. A first one was and is a contract about the design of alignment and track of the entire line with Arcadis. It's another engineering company. The second one is directly with the contractor, Connex 6, where we are developing some RAMs activity. So again, in the area of the system engineering as a general family of activity. And finally, the most recent is the one I was commenting before. It's the paved tunnel underground station section of the Ontario line itself. And this is the progressive approach I was mentioning before. So it's definitely the most interesting for me. It's definitely the most challenging also, but it's the new way. So we are really trying to be part as best as possible to this collaborative environment with designers, contractors, client, and to bring up together this important challenge. This is the present. We have 10 engineers on site. How do we do this project? We have let's say, a limited amount of experts there in terms of front-end engineers. Of course, we rely on the technical department in Italy, simply because we have all the technical departments here in Rome or in other parts of Italy. But we try to make the most of also of the different time zone. So to make the most of 18 hours activity, not just 12. But we want to increase the local presence, okay? So, because after all, especially when it comes to collaborative approach, the decisions are taken in the corridors of the offices of the contractors. So we have to probably increase that part of our organization. This is where we stand. We'd like to continue, of course, to expand our footprint in the country. As of now, as I said, it's very limited to the Toronto area. We'd like to expand in terms of other provinces. We'd like to expand in terms of direct assistance to the owners, simply because our DNA started with this profile in Italy. But I think that this must be done step by step, because as in North America, is important is to be known. And this is what we are trying to create, a good profile, a professional profile that can be, let's say, a good asset for the organization we are trying to approach. Marco, Francesca, I think this is what I can share with all of you so far. So if there are no questions so far, or we'll take the questions later on, I would leave the floor to your other guests. Thank you for this opportunity.
Well, thank you very much. That's a very insightful commentary on what ITALFER has been doing here in Italy. And actually, I think there are some interesting questions I'll probably ask at the end of the session. But if anybody has any questions really quickly, please feel free to raise your hand, put it in the chat as you wish. I'll give you a couple seconds, then. Yes, Jerry.
Hi, Francesco. I don't have any questions. I just want to echo what Marco said. I think the introduction to Canada of DiTecFer has gone tremendously well. It has been a huge support for us at WeBuild to have somebody that knows how we work, that we have worked with before. And it fits with our strategy to bring global relationships to Canada. And I can tell you, yesterday I was with one of our major clients, Metrolinx, talking about a future project that they're market sounding. And I was talking about bringing in new players to Canada as joint venture partners for this project, and they were enthusiastic. So for those of you that are worried about Canada, I can assure you it's a very welcoming country. There's a lot of work, and Marco is an example of, I think, a success story, because Marco, it happened, I don't want to say overnight, but it happened fairly quickly, did it not?
It's right. It's right. It's definitely as you say. Of course, let's say my experience, as I told you, let's say, had some previous networking relationship with Jerry and their organization. But I believe we tried to be humble in a way, but at the same time to bring some experience there and to fill some gaps there that I understood there were. So this is what we do. Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you. So, seeing no other questions, I must introduce you all to Timothy Rohach. Sorry, Rohach.
Yeah.
From Engineering, Ingegneria Informatica. He's from the USA portion, and without further ado, I'd like to present. Please do
Thank
so.
you. Thank you, Francesco. So it's really also a two-person show. I'm more hosting and kicking off, but we have my counterpart and my peer. Furio Coltri is going to be with me as well, and maybe even do the bulk of the presenting. So Furio, could you share your presentation? Aha. That's fantastic. And put that in presentation mode.
Is it not already in presentation mode?
No, it's showing us the other slides as well. I think if you click the little box.
No, it doesn't work. I did it already.
Okay. Well, we'll persevere. It's fireside, so we can be flexible, right?
There are two ways of presenting. One is to present a window, and the other one is another one. So yeah, that works perfect. But I mean, you can also play fiddle with that later. Okay, thank you.
Okay. So also, I have to just make a comment. Marco Stegher, really great words. I mean, when I listen to you, almost everything you said I can agree with, and even say myself on behalf of our group. So Congratulations to your growth and progress, and we're really, really happy to see what you're doing. So some of this may be new for you. I think a lot of you folks know the engineering group. So we're really from Industries Excellence is a division of the engineering group. So part of what we're going to do here maybe is show you some new things that you might not be aware of what we are, who we are, and what we do. So I think next, Furio. Okay, so engineering group. Many of you, I'm guessing, do know who the engineering group is. We're not a small company in Italy. They're very large, one of the top or biggest, if not the largest IT services and consulting services provider in Italy. And we're quite a large company, a global company. We have about 15,000 employees, and in euros, about 1.7 billion in euros for 2023. But what you may not know is that we have a division, and the engineering group has a focus on other areas that are not traditional for our history in Italy. And that really is part of the business that we're going to talk to you about today. And that is our division called Industries Excellence. So myself and Furio really focus our effort and our work in the division known as Industries Excellence. Industries Excellence is a global division headquartered in Chicago with a very keen interest on growing our business in North America and Canada in particular, we see as a focal point for us. Now, there's really about 4 areas that we tend to focus on. One is digital, so it's digital thread oriented. So if you just think of industrial automation, operational technology, digital thread in the digital engineering, digital manufacturing, and digital supply chain space. Also, very big focus, smart transportation. And that's kind of the part that we're going to focus on here today. So since it's fireside, I won't bore you by reading slides, but I've kind of already mentioned our specialty is digital thread, really. And that carries over to smart transportation as well. We're global. I think you can tell from the intro. We are a systems integrator and an integrator of automation. We are very much focused on end-to-end, holistic, total solutions. Since we are consultants, and as consultants and system integrators, we really are product and software agnostic, and we very much build our business upon and focus on partnerships. We do have some proprietary methodologies and technologies that we leverage as well. But on the second to the last train there, really the complete offering, pulling together multitudes of partners, vendors, and providers is really a very important part of what we do. And our partnership with our customers and with our peers in the industry is really how we're successful. Okay, I think next. And now I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Coltri. So Furio, please.
Sure. Thank you, Tim,
You're
for
welcome.
your, effective introduction. So I will start with this chart that says, I think clarifies that we are a global company, and we work mostly in 2 continents. One is Europe and the other one is Americas, where we deliver a lot of big and complex projects related to, say, the more core technologies related to rail infrastructure and vehicles. So we will go through our portfolio. We started not so recently working in the Americas, about 10 years ago, starting with Brazil, and then we spread to all the other countries, including North America and Canada, since I think 5 years or so. So the summary of this is that we have a big experience in diverse projects, complex and diverse projects throughout the world, and we have, of course, an experience in North America and in Canada too, that we can leverage for other projects and to extend our projects and activities. Of course, as Tim said, we are a system integrator, so we leverage and integrate existing technologies from main vendors. Of course, we leverage high-level technologies on the technology and innovation cutting edge, and try to bring this approach to our customers, providing best-of-breed solutions and innovative approach to this business. That is, on one side, of course, very complex and requires prudence and say proven approach, but on the other side, in some cases, needs to be aligned with new technologies and market trends. Of course, as you will see, next slide, we focus on I cannot say small. It's a wide, in terms of volumes, for a set of areas in infrastructure and vehicle rolling stock markets, both leveraging direct contracts with transit authorities and direct players, and with EPCs, so big constructors, both civil work and rail systems. We, especially in North America, are focused only on the rail market, but our firm commitment is to extend this in the upcoming years to other similar markets like road, airports, and ports that we are doing in Europe successfully. And so we think that market can benefit from our experience and strength. These are a number of customers. I won't go through all of them, but I think already summarized that we both work with end customers and with contractors, main contractors and EPCs. And this is our approach, and we will go on with this approach that is, for us, profitable and successful. So as I said, we in North America, we mainly focus on rail and road market. That is, of course, composed in itself a very huge market with a number of subcomponents that are very different to each other. So, of course, we focus on wayside and infrastructure, but we deliver specific solutions for example, stations, stops, tunnels, crossroads, and also depot solutions, control rooms. So all the subcomponents of a complete rail system, including the logistics and stations. And as I said, we plan to extend our domain to airports and ports, as we are doing in other countries. So, as I said, this is a very complex market with very complex projects and life cycle. So it always, when we discuss with our opportunities or new customers, this is a bit complex. I will try to better explain. So we can cover for the IT technologies the full life cycle of a greenfield or a brownfield project. That means from the very beginning, so design with, I would say, inception. So doing feasibility studies, assessments on the existing situation, and bring the best approach to the project related to even in the design phase, in the inception phase, or the very early stage of a new initiative. Of course, during the project, we are involved as a turnkey supplier in all the phases. So we do the detailed design, the engineering phase. We prepare, set up, procure all the needed deliverables by, as I said, buying from third parties, pre-built equipment, assembling them in our labs, in our environments, doing software configuration, software and hardware configuration, development, customization, integration, deliver the outcome of our work to the final system and or a pilot system, for example, and assist and support the commissioning phase, the site acceptance phase, site integration, and then the following phase, like, I don't know, piloting, depending on the project approach, training, support to the full operation. We have hybrid approach, blended approach. So we of course have a large delivery center that is both in US and in Europe, and blend this huge team that is mainly related to design and software development with local presence that leverages local companies. And we, of course, hire locally personnel, especially for the long-term projects. Of course, after the operation phase, we can participate, we can candidate for the operation itself with the transit authority directly or through other main suppliers in the operation contracts. So we can say that we cover for the IT solutions in the rail market the full stack, the full life cycle. And for most of the applicable technologies, especially as per our expertise, that is core systems for the rail, the overall rail system. We have other areas in our company that can take care of the specific rail solutions in the IT more traditional side. So I mean, the CIO domain, like SAP solutions or any other business that can cover a transit authority or an operator in this business. Hoping that this complex slide was quite clear. So to come to the specific technology areas we cover, it's very simple. So we can take care of the networking and telecommunications domain, both in, say, buildings, so stations, control centers, depots, etc. and along the wayside, so rail, tunnels, bridges, etc. So we can set up, configure, and deliver complete networking projects, turnkey end-to-end. More recently, we started with by more recently, I mean 10 years, because this business overall we are doing it, I think it's more than 25 years. We entered the physical security market that is further split into video surveillance and access control systems. So we deliver complete physical security systems end-to-end from the feasibility study up to the operation support to the physical security system. Of course, we cover all that is related to the IT domain, including hardware, including cameras, including door controllers, everything, licenses, integration with other systems, testing, compliance, etc. These are very big, as you can imagine. These are very big projects, and currently this market is very expanding. The number of cameras are increasing year over year, and everything has more and more stringent requirements in terms of, say, recognition of issues, automated or manual recognition of issues, and all the subsequent life cycle, including, of course, authorities like police and firefighters, etc. So it's becoming a crucial component of a rail system. This is true for IT and especially OT cybersecurity. That is similar, but of course, totally different in terms of skills, required skills. And this is another area we work a lot in, delivering traditional cybersecurity as well as new complex OT solutions to protect the ever-growing OT solutions that are present in a rail system. Another area that is very crucial to us is the SCADA and IoT component that is all about monitoring and controlling the field equipment and remotely making available all the information. Last but not least, we collect all the data we produce from the other, say, pillars or areas in sound and comprehensive big data warehouses, or now they call it data lakes, but they're in the end data collection. We may create also the reporting and analytics layer, or simply provide information as needed. This is again a growing area because the data collected from the other equipment are growing and growing in terms of size and real-time requirements. So it's another crucial area for new systems. I think I covered everything, so I can just add something for the specific areas. So networking for us is, of course, data networking, both wired and wireless, but also radio systems that are still existing in the rail market, mainly for existing regulations in terms of compliance. And also we do both critical and not critical networks. And we cover also the telephony and all the other ancillary systems for a networking solution. For physical security, I think I covered everything. I want to remark that artificial intelligence and machine learning is playing more and more a very important role in this area. So this component is playing now a very important role for transit authorities now. So they are very interested in collecting this kind of information, being compliant with regular new updated regulations, and more all the authorities are expecting that these data are high quality, compliant with regulations, and readily available when needed. This is becoming, say, something expected in nearly zero time. So it's now very important for us to have the right sizing of systems, right quality of cameras and resolution. So it's now a very critical component. For SCADA, well, I think I've already covered everything. We, of course, directly collect data from the end systems, but also play as a hub for other ancillary data systems. The new area is IoT, that is very promising, especially for the brownfield systems. So legacy systems coming from the very first stage of embedded systems with custom protocols, strong limitations, serial data, so we can extend them using IoT without replacing all the existing systems. And this is a very important innovation area. I think that for cybersecurity, I already covered it. Well, then again, we have a very deep experience in collecting and understanding data coming from all the systems in a rail system world. So we can, of course, we can not only deliver a technology, but support customers to collect the right data, do the right filtering and correlation, and if requested, deliver the right reporting or provide this to other systems to enrich and complete the information available for passenger systems or analytics or traffic analytics and any other area you might leverage with fresh new data. So if I have time, I can say something on what we are doing now. As I said, we have a company in US, which is way bigger than I started 10 years ago for this market. For Canada, this is more recent. We started in 2019, so it's 5 years. We are growing very fast, helping Canada to enter and exploit and leverage better the rail systems to help new cities or helping traffic and citizen demands in terms of collective transport systems. So far we have a very good experience, so we are very happy with what we have done so far. As per the other comments, we share the same experience. Canada is very welcoming, provides a lot of facilities and help in case you are a newcomer, you're a new company. So we are working a lot and we are very happy to work there.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your intervention. I really appreciate it, both Tim and Furio. If anybody has any questions for them or any comments, speak now or forever hold your peace, or hold your peace until the question and answer period, which will be right after Irina's presentation. So I'll wait a few seconds. Okay. Seeing none, I will pass the mic on to Irina Vescu from DiTecFer, and take the floor, Irina.
Do you hear me?
Yeah.
And see in presentation mode?
Perfect. Yeah, I see everything.
Great.
Presentation, do you want to make it full screen?
Yes, I did. No.
It is on your side. Okay. We have the same problem as before.
Okay.
Yeah, but
I'll try to do the same.
You can see most of it.
I'm sorry for that. Now it's better?
Yes.
Okay. So I will try to be to show my slides briefly as I can, because I see we are all over time. I'm representing DiTecFer. This is the District for Rail Technologies, High-Speed Network Safety and Security. We are a leading railway cluster in Italy, and we are based in Pistoia, in Tuscany. So this year we will celebrate 10 years of our consortium. And why we are based in Pistoia? Because this region is very rich in railway businesses. There are a lot of companies, even established 100 years ago, with experience in this railway sector. And for these reasons, it is also home, Tuscany is also home to National Railway Safety Agency, so-called ANPSISA, the Research and Development Center of RFI, that is the National Railway Infrastructure Manager. The technical direction of Trenitalia is also here, that is National Railway Transportation Operators, and the last but not the least important, that here are laboratories of Italferr for homologation and certification of new railway vehicles. Italferr is also our shareholders. So let's go on. I don't know. Okay. So speaking about DiTecFer, we are a consortium of 57 companies, not only from Tuscany, we include companies also from other 10 regions. The segments that we cover are rolling stock, and speaking about it, this is manufacturing of vehicles, systems, components. We cover control, command signaling, infrastructures, engineering, direction, construction, equipment, and of course, homologation, certification, as I said, and research and development. In the consortium also included 2 research entities and 3 industrial associations for the railway sector. Here are some logos you can see on the screens, and as you can see, there are also, big companies like, for instance, Hitachi Rail or Thales, or even engineering is also a shareholder. But the biggest part is represented by small and medium-sized enterprises. And therefore, our big effort is directed to support this kind of companies. DiTecFer is also, let's say, very active on national and international European level. We have developed a strong know-how in the internationalization field through development of joint activities for our members, and almost 30 fairs and different missions we organized so far. And also we are coordinator of many European projects, as you can see, like Leader 2030, STAR, Success, Extra, and so on. Besides, we are also partners for other European projects that are linked to railway industry and mobility and transportation projects. At national level, we are part of Cluster Trasporti, that is the working group on railway transport. And we also leading partner inside ERCI group. This is the European Railway Cluster Initiative. The group of 18 railway clusters in the whole Europe. On this small map, you can see which countries we are covering. And yeah, the ERCI is very active, and we as well participate in many activities. The coordinator of DiTecFer, Veronica Elena Bocci, is also a member of the expert group on the competitiveness of the railway supply industry. So we somehow influence the policy inside the European Commission in the railway sector. DiTecFer as well supports its members on research and innovation activities, in acquisition of strategic know-how and business networking to grow the whole supply chain and open, of course, new international markets. In particular, the areas where DiTecFer is majorly operates are those which you can see on the screen. So there are very different activities, starting from innovation, networking. We do business development, participate in fairs and missions together with our companies. We provide competitive intelligence, international development, and as well organizing together with other partners here locally some courses, trainings, and that are necessary for young people to be involved more in the railway industry. Yeah, and going more closer to Canada, as this is a very important market for us. A big share of our companies are interested in North American market, and for this reason, we coordinate the Success project. This is an European project funded by the European Union, and it aims to support SMEs in their going internationally and participating to public procurements. We were selected 3 target countries, Canada, USA, and Norway. And here I will focus only on Canada activities that we organized so far. We have developed a complete holistic path to help SMEs to get ready for Canada. And speaking about SMEs, I mean small and medium-sized enterprises, I want to emphasize that the concept of SMEs in Europe and in North America is totally different. If we're speaking about European definition, there in Europe, these companies are considered those that have less than 250 employees and a turnover less than 43 billion euro. Or these are the main criteria, and therefore, if we compare this kind of enterprises, they're totally different. For instance, in the United States, there is no limitation for numbers, or a small company could have a big numbers of turnover or employees. So therefore, we have organized for Canadian access into to access the Canadian market. We are organizing several activities, starting from training on the railway market, continuing with some pitch your company events, meet the buyers event, connecting thus local Italian companies and also European companies with the Canadian public authorities, transportation authorities, public procurers. And after that, we continued it with organizing a mission to Canada last year, and of course, after that, with follow-up activities. That mission took place in October, and was a part of a big 2-week trip to North America, covering also the trip to United States. Many local public and private procurers of railway sector were met, and we had meetings in Toronto and Montreal. And after that, we, beside this activity, we also launched within this project the Tenders Watch Canada newsletter. That it is created almost in 1-2 weeks, and updates information on new open tenders and different useful information, webinars, some good sessions that we can recommend, or other useful information for Canada, to help the companies to be ready for that market, and of course receive and update information of possibilities and opportunities that the Canadian market offers to them. Here are some KPIs that I can share with you. We have involved more than 230 companies in that, in different activities. 255 persons receive weekly hour newsletters for Canada. Unfortunately, the project ends in June, but we will try to continue this activity, with updating information with new tenders in Canada, and also the positive feedbacks that we receive from the participants encourages us to not stop on this, and to continue helping our companies to access the Canadian market, and not only. Here I'm showing you some logos of the companies, Italian companies, that's our members, that have high interest in Canada and in general in North America. Some of them have their subsidiaries or have opened their local companies in mostly in the United States, but operates and are very active also in Canada. For instance, Blend Plants also participated in our mission in October, and was very happy because received also have got a partner, and very happy of that, thanks to our activities. I think the last slide will cover some of our recommendations that we observed during during the experience that we have in Canada. And it covers, and it's linked mostly to big pillars, innovations and strategies. So the best way to enter to this market, according to our opinion, is is to have innovation that deploying measurable improvements of local Canadian partners. I mean, only having an innovative solution, an innovative product or service, you can compete and you can be selected by them. Of course, you need the procuring organization to be informed about that innovation, and that's why a dialogue requires to be between them. And of course, a local presence is very important for that, in order to create a trust building and be more competitive as well on the market. And the strategy that is not is also very important, because the company that wants to have clients, that wants to receive I mean to have business, to do business in Canada, they have to think and to have a financial support to create a strategy and to create a strategy for at least 3-4 years for a medium term period, because they need to have a dedicated person, staff that can develop these relationships between their company and a local Canadian ones. So of course, one shot, one kill can be happen sometimes. For instance, in case of a tender that is issued and they are looking for, you can be lucky and win. But anyway, in the railway sector, it's very it doesn't happen so often. So you have to be indeed very innovative and very problem solving have a product or service. So yeah, this is, I think, everything that I wanted to tell you. Thank you for this occasion to present ourselves. I want to emphasize that our members are highly interested in Canada to create collaborations with the companies to establish their businesses, and through including also such kind of webinars that you are organizing help us, and of course helps our companies to be more involved in that activities and to receive more information and get access to that market. Thank you very much, and then I'm open for any question. Francesco?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think we have some time for questions now. Francesco, you can still continue to play host, no problem. We will not go too much into what we do because it's late. I mean, we don't want to keep everyone. But yeah, we do a number of things. So don't forget to call us when you need to work in Canada. Okay. Any questions? Any comments that you may have?
I have a question for Marco probably, and also for Tom and Furio if they wanted to answer. First of all, like if it's not a secret, how do you find the project to be involved in? I mean, is it through public or private tenders, or is it thanks to some direct relationship that you have created so far?
Well, from my side, I can tell you that there are some, let's say, tools or procurement tools that it's better to have, such as Merck's or others that, let's say, share in advance or the news about procurements being issued by different entities. Then, of course, when it comes to Toronto Transit projects, I've attended some, let's say, events back in the previous decade, because there was a wave of projects, so they were anticipated, and so I little by little understood a little bit about those. And then there is the networking, of course, element that is, so it's a combination of things. The networking is maybe the most important one, but you have to start from somewhere. So there are these elements.
And a link question to that, do you involve in your projects also other Italian companies, or do you implement everything by yourself? I mean, in Canada.
Again, from my point of view, we are embedded in contractor organization, or we are partnering with other engineering firms that are that have other scope of works. So we are within larger organization. Of course, our scope is done by ourselves. So our part of activity is definitely on our shoulders. We have to, but one of the things that happen here is that the public bids are projects in themselves. So you have to develop and you have to involve a great amount of effort during the tender phases, because sometimes you have to develop let's say, a tender design. In some others, you do not do it, but you are in any case involved in tenders preparation with many other actors. So you have to assure a presence there and different kind of activities. So it's something that, let's say, should be done partly locally, of course, with a commercial team on your shoulders, on your organization. Okay, these are lessons learned from my experience. I cannot say that these are the rules to be followed, but this is my experience.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guido. Yes.
Thank you. I continue to be impressed by how much engineering and Italferr are big, giant. And I wonder how our small and medium enterprises in Italy can help, can participate. We don't have the shoulder you have. What is the suggestion? To go on some niche sector, or how can we try to contribute to your solution? Even though the solution of engineering is so impressive from the infrastructure point of view, I wonder also if there is also the equivalent on rolling stock. So it's a double question, but yes, that's it. Thank you.
Is it my turn? So
whoever wants
regarding the first question, we have the same experience as Marco for the approach we are doing. So we are leveraging existing network from both US and Europe, as long as we use the portals and the common approach you can have with end customers and operators. Regarding our, say, delivery strategy, we combine off-site activities and on-site. I think already mentioned this in my previous discussion. This is true for Canada, but for most of other countries. Of course, it's totally different. That there is no secret. This is obvious. I think it's totally different if we work in Lima, in Peru, or in Canada. So, of course, local presence is totally different. Local suppliers, availability of materials is totally different. But the approach makes sense in both areas. So in both countries, in This is our approach. Regarding any suggestion to smaller companies, I don't think, honestly, I'm in the position to give suggestions because we are kind of newcomers too. We are big, but I don't think we are in this situation. We can enough experience to give suggestions. Of course, local presence is important. We can discuss again, or say, extend or highlight what Marco Saladini said. There are some topics related to taxations and local regulations. So having a local presence is very easy and important to be there or here when I'm there. Okay. So that's important because provides an important contribution to our teams, for example, local teams. Otherwise, we can send our employees locally. So this is now becoming a strong pro. But then again, it's very easy to open a local company, to lease employees there in Canada, so it's not a big deal. And going to the rolling stock question, we work mainly, but not only, for the vehicle or rolling stock side, say, side of a rail system. So we do a few things that are mainly related to the telecom, networking, and video surveillance areas. But yes, we have an experience on the rolling stock too.
Thank you very much.
So if nobody else has any questions, I have one real quick before I do my little discourse. So this is an open question to everybody. So yesterday I was at the conference, at the TRAX Rail Day conference in Toronto. I had spoken with one of the main organizers of TRAX. His name is Rohach, and he has worked in many different countries, such as Dubai, for about 13 years. And he mentioned that one of the most difficult things about doing projects here in Canada is the amount of time it takes. And it seems to be caused in part by a lack of technical expertise, which was something that actually Marco Stegher had mentioned in his presentation briefly. And so I want to extend that question to you. Do you find that there's an imbalance in talent between Canada and Italy that can be exploited here? Do you find that there's a lot of demand for Italian technical expertise, project management, just general rail engineers, civil engineers, something that is there a huge shortage of that in Canada? And what are you doing to fill that?
Francesco, as I said, I think that the complexity here in Canada is also related to the kind of procurement that the client are fostering, no? Because I simply think of the Subway Ontario line again, because this is something that we are covering from different angles. There are four big contract or consortium of contractors working in parallel. There are early works that are other, let's say, additional contractors that work in that. The client is one with limited forces, with limited capabilities, but all of these must be managed in a very effective way, because all these, let's say, different contracts and different contractors have to comply with an overall schedule to finally and eventually put into operation a line in a certain date. So I think that, let's say, probably the lack of expertise is there, simply because the railway application in general were not so common there. No, there are more. They have been historical more used in Europe. This is quite known to everybody. Of course, there are companies from Spain, from France, from Germany that are populating now those geographies because they have the knowledge of our, let's say, European contracts, you know. But the additional complexity is, as far as I see, the procurement strategy that is adding some, let's say, additional concern from my point of view, and that is adding an additional request of integration, interface, project management, program management. So it's the Champions League there, and so we have to have good and senior experts to manage this complexity. It's not a simple response, I understand, but those are the elements that I'm seeing.
Well, thank you very much. Oftentimes questions don't have very simple answers, so I really appreciate it. Furio or Tim, would you like to add on? Or even Jerry?
No, I think that to start with, I fully agree with the complexity of the question. So it's very complex to answer. There are some, in the IT domain, there are some areas that are very hard in Canada and maybe not so hard in Italy. I wouldn't mention Europe, but Italy. Generally speaking, it's hard to answer. So, of course, in Canada, there is a shortage, but to my understanding, Canada government is doing some strategic initiatives to leverage foreign employees from Asia and other countries to bridge this gap. So
yeah, that's right.
Maybe that in the end, the situation maybe it's not so different. Okay, so it's difficult, but it's difficult to provide us a consistent answer.
Right. One comment I can add, Francesco, really ties together the question that was brought forward by you and also by Irina, which is secrets to success. I mean, if you want to execute on a complex project, you have to have expertise, and you have to hire and train and develop great expertise, and that in-house expertise is what you must leverage to navigate through a complex environment such as rail in Canada. So I don't know if it's a secret or not. Maybe it's common sense, but it's something that we've tried to do, and I think is really necessary because of the question you brought forward, Francesco. So that's my comment there. And
the internet, if you're not concerned about that. So